Okay, so class today.
Yo, teach, I have a question. They say women make 70 cents for every dollar a man makes. I checked with the woman on my team. Turns out we all get paid the same. So, where's the pay gap?
I never realized that before. Today, we will discuss the gender pay gap, compare it across different countries and industries. We will discover how it affects mothers, women in STEM, and women in leadership. Let's dive into the research. All right, so what is a gender pay gap? It's the number that is calculated by finding all the pay of women and all the pay of men and averaging it together. What we want is to find the gender pay gap per level and per industry.
I found it. People at payscale.com found all the men and women that have similar jobs and compared the salaries. They summed up the average and found the controlled pay gap to be 99% and the uncontrolled pay gap to be 83%.
See? The girls on my team do make the same as me.
But why is the controlled pay gap so different from the uncontrolled pay gap?
Dude, maybe not as many women have high-paying jobs. Maybe the men are just more qualified.
Let's see for ourselves who's more qualified.
Here it is. Both men and women have an equal ratio of primary education as well as middle school and high school. But on average, more women have grad degrees compared to men.
Catching up, we've been ahead.
Now, can we see the gender pay gap ratio by industry?
Already found it. It looks like there are more women in art and humanities, health and welfare, and journalism, but way less women in STEM.
What's STEM?
It's all the jobs related to science, technology, engineering, and math. But why are there less women in STEM?
Because they hate women.
Maybe it's too hard for girls.
Women don't have access to the same mentorship and support networks.
I think that girls are more creative and prefer arts, social sciences, and more nurturing jobs. On the other hand, guys in society have more pressure to make more money. They end up choosing the higher paying job instead of what they like doing.
I, for one, feel like there are less women in STEM because the workplace is toxic to girls.
How?
There's always someone being creepy and saying gross stuff.
Yeah, women are forced out due to factors such as harassment and microaggression.
Yeah, those are all interesting thoughts. What do you think the solution is?
SA in the workplace should be taken more seriously.
We can put pressure on women to make more money.
Oh, I know. We could just force all women to be in STEM.
Moving on. All right, let's see the gender pay gap over time.
Look at this. It shows pay gap per industry.
Hello there.
Oh, what's this?
Finance hates women. What the heck are they doing in legal?
Dude, I found something. It looks like the pay gap drops a bunch from 25 to 35 and kind of stays constant after that.
What happens around then?
Women have children.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, teach. Look at this.
As you can see, mothers make 76% of what fathers make. Does anyone have any suggestions on why that could be?
It's because corporations hate mothers.
Yeah. Any other ideas?
Is it because of the break in employment? Mothers usually have to work shorter hours, quit higher paying jobs, and are usually more focused on their baby.
Societal expectations to take care of their homes causes women to step back in their careers.
Sexist presumptions that mothers are less productive.
There might be a scenario where an employer doesn't want to pay for the childcare requirements, so they employ less women.
There's a ton of research which suggests that mothers are hired less often and given less promotions. If you're interested in this topic, then I would suggest reading the book The Motherhood Penalty by Julie Brealey. It goes through a lot of detail.
Oh, I have an idea. We should have more easily accessible childcare spaces.
Yeah, that might help.
But with robots, we can make an AI that can feed and play with the baby. And then we can just always work all the time.
Let's just move on. Now, let's see the data for women in leadership.
I found a graph of average earnings over time for both men and women. I think there's a glass ceiling.
Oh, What's happening here?
It looks like a woman's earnings hits a peak right here.
That's because there's a glass ceiling. Why do you think that is?
They hate us.
Show me the percentage of women in leadership relative to men. It looks like for the average job, 45% of entry jobs are women. But at the manager level, there's a drop, and another drop near the director, VP, and C-suite positions.
What's C-suite?
C-suite are all the C-related jobs. For example, CEO, CFO, and so on.
Ah, I get it now.
Okay, but class, why are there less women in C-level positions?
Sometimes there's harassment and abuse.
That's definitely a real problem. Here are some resources that talk about these issues and solutions. Check these out in the description below.
I just thought up of another reason. Bias and discrimination.
Also, the lack of flexibility. Societally, women have a larger role in the family and would need a job that is more flexible.
Or maybe women aren't as good at leadership. What?
That is not the case at all. In fact, all the research for the last 10 years suggests that women are equal or better leaders than men. Companies with more than 30% leadership roles are 12 times more likely to be in the top 20% for financial performance.
Slay, queen. Let's go.
In conclusion, the gender pay gap does not exist on a per-role level. It exists in aggregate for three main reasons. We need more women in STEM, we need to solve the motherhood penalty, and we need to make the workplace less hostile to women.
I agree. Now that we have cracked the mystery behind the unfair pay gap, march onwards to the comment section and unleash your solutions for the problem that women are facing.